إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار، أعاذنا الله وإياكم منها. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل بامتثال الأوامر واجتناب النواهي، فهي وصية الله تبارك وتعالى للأولين والآخرين. فقال المولى جل في علاه: ولقد وصينا الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم وإياكم أن اتقوا الله. وهي وصية رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، حيث قال لمعاذ بن الجبل رضي الله عنه: اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع السيئات الحسنة تمحوها خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, last week we stopped in the middle of the hadith, long hadith. This hadith is recorded by Imam Ahmed في مسنده بسند حسن من حديث عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنه. Some of you might not hear this hadith, so inshallah I'll try to start all over again that hadith, and then I'll go where we stopped. This hadith, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says, one day I was sitting with this great companion, the reporter of the hadith, Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anhu, and he told me this hadith while I was sitting in front of him and I was listening to him. So Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anhu, he converted to Islam after a long journey, and he talked about this long journey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him longevity, long life. That's why you can see how he struggled to seek the truth, to find the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran: وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Those strive, those struggle in order to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to achieve the truth, Allah says, certainly I will guide them to the truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with those who are doing the ihsan. Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anhu says, Abdullah ibn Abbas, as he reported, I born and raised in a city in Iran, it's called Isfahan. This city, Salman al-Farisi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and the Iran, before they converted to Islam, they used to worship the fire. Some of them, they used to worship the stars, the moon, and all that, all kind of gods. And Salman al-Farisi said, I had a lot of sisters, and my father, he says, I was the only son, and he loved me so much. And that kind of love bring his dad, he says, not let me even go outside. He used to keep me at home. It's exactly where he used to keep the girls. I was among them. He never let me go outside. Never ever. But he says one day, he was kind of busy in order to go to the field, in order to go to his garden, and for some reason, he sent one of our employee to go there. And then he says, that day I get a chance, so I go outside and I go to the garden of my dad. So he says, while I was walking and going to that garden, I saw a big church and I hear noise coming out, noise of music and noise of prayer. And I said, what's going on here? And he said, I come into the church and I started listening those people what they're reciting, the prayer they doing, recitation that they're doing. And he says, I kept listening and listening and listening until the sun sets, all day until the night. And he says, my dad worry about me so much, because when he comes back and I'm not at home, and he gets so scared, and he was looking for me, searching, he's knocking every door. Anybody, who see me? He says, finally, I come home, and my dad says, I worry too much about you. What happened to you? And I said, Dad, I just left today for some reason, and while I was about to go to our garden, I saw a big place they call a church, and I entered there, and I listened their prayers, and I really love it. They talk about God, they talk about prayer, they talk about charity, they talk about lots of good things. And believe me, Dad, this religion is better than our religion. And his dad gets so upset, so angry. How dare you tell that? There is no one can claim that, and there is no religion better than my religion and my forefathers' religion. This is exactly what everybody says. إِنَّا وَجَدْنَا آبَاءَنَا عَلَى أُمَّةٍ وَإِنَّا عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ مُقْتَدُونَ. This is how we found our parents used to worship, and exactly that's what we are doing until we die. So this is like you close your heart and you are not opening your heart to anything. This is how those people used to be. Up to now you see lots of people saying like that. So finally, Salman al-Farisi radiallahu anhu says, my dad says, I will never ever let you go outside. So he chained my leg, and he chained to somewhere, so he locked me inside the house, and now I cannot even go away, I cannot even walk. But before he left, he asked these people, he says, guys, where this religion originated? They say, somewhere from Syria. He said, okay, I'll go to Syria. But if there's any group of people coming from Syria and going back there, please let us know. They said, okay, we will let you know. So after a month or so, this group of people come from Syria visiting this church, and they're about to go back. And they just noticed him. They send somebody that this group, they are about to leave tomorrow. He says, I look for a chance that dad is not at home, and then I enchain myself and I unlock it myself, and I rush into that church, and I go with this group of people. They took me all the way to Damascus, Syria. He says, when I come to the city, I ask the people. The majority of the people are Christian, and he asked, who is the most knowledgeable among you? And they pointed their finger, a priest, a man who is the most knowledgeable at the church. He came to him and he says, please, can I stay with you? So I want to learn from you, and I'm here to help you as well. He says, okay, go ahead. And he said, I stay with him long enough until this man about to die. And the day he died, the people gathered in order to take him to the graveyards, and I stood among them and I said, this man was not a good man. Yes, he was most knowledgeable among you, but he was not the most honest. He used to ask you and collect the charity from you in order to give the poor people, but he used to keep this for himself. He never gave this money that he's collecting from you. They said, do you have a proof? He says, yes, come on, I'll show you in his room. And he bring them and he showed them 7 big boxes full of gold and silver. They get so mad, so upset, and they did not take him to the graveyard. They burned his body and they throw him away. And they pick and choose the best among them. And he says, can I stay with you, Salman al-Farisi? They said, yes, you can stay with me. And he says, wallahi, I never saw such an honest and good person like him. He was one of the best person I ever saw. I love him so much, and I stayed with him. for a long time until he's about to die. And he says, man, you're about to die. I'm looking for somebody like you, so I learn more my religion and I will stay with him. Is there anybody that you're pointing? And he says, yes. There's very few people like me, but I'm just sending you. And he sent him another city. He says, go that city, the city of Mosul. He says, go that city and stay there with a group of people, and among them, that name. He gives the name of the priest. And he says, I went all the way to the priest, and I stayed with him, and I told him that that scholar sent me into him, and he welcomed me, and I used to stay with him. And he was such an honest and a very good guy. Religious person, worshiping Allah a lot, praying a lot, standing the night, fasting the day, doing lots of good deeds. And he says, I stay with him until he's about to die. Because Allah given Salman Farisi a long life. And he says, do you want to send me anybody who's just like you? And he sent me another man, another city. The name was something like Nasri or something close to that. He sent him there. And he stays there, like somewhere close to Iraq. So he says, I stay with this man until he's about to die. And I say, you want to send me? And he sent me one more person. So 3 persons, each one when he's about to die, he's going another one. So this is the last man. When he stays with him long enough, he says, when he's about to die, I say, do you want to send me somebody who's like you? So I want to learn from him this religion, and I want to stay with him longer. And he says, there's no one like us. We people, like those who worship in such a worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are about to die. We almost done. And he says, I want to give you glad tidings. There is a time very close that Allah is sending a prophet. And this prophet, he is coming as a migration. He will migrate a city that has a small black stones. This is Medina. And he has a big palm trees, and he gives the description. And he says, there's a prophet about to come up there, and I'm suggesting you go and believe that prophet and follow him. And he says, how I can tell that man is prophet of Allah? Because anybody can claim the prophethood. This is where I stopped last Friday. He says, I will give you 3 signs, 3 things that you can try. And if you couldn't find that 3 things, or at least one of them, then he's not a prophet of Allah. So go and do that. He says, what is that? He says, go and you will find out he will never accept a charity. If you give him something as a charity, as a sadaqah, he will never accept from you. He will never take for himself. And number 2, if you give him a gift, he will take it from you. A gift, he will take from you. So there's a difference between the gift and charity. Your friend, you don't give him a sadaqah. You don't give him charity. You give him a gift. You say, this watch, this pen, this money is a gift from me to you. So you give him a gift. But when it comes about the charity, the poor person, you give him maybe same amount of money, but now there's 2 different. The poor person, the only thing that you're expecting to get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's all what you want, because it's a sadaqah. But when it comes about your Muslim brother, your Muslim sister, when you're giving something who's friend of you, you're not giving him as a sadaqah. You're giving him to have a good relation, to improve the relation between you and that individual.